here yet? Oh, there he is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, it's time to return to the studio, under construction studio, and get some work done. What's up, boys and girls? I am the Old Humble Guy. This is the day in the life, and our whiskey giveaway has begun. Our studio fundraiser and whiskey giveaway has begun. This is what we're going to be doing. I'm going to actually type this out as I say it. I'm the Old Humble Guy. We are in the Firefly Lounge, the tasting room of the distillery. You can see behind me, I've made a little bit of progress on the skim coat. We've got a little bit further to go. Let's show the picture-in-picture version. Where's it at? Tater Dom's in the house. There he is. There it is. Over there. That's over my left shoulder. So my goal today is to get those last three panels done and the trim around the window I think we're going to do the trim around the window too. So that's the goal for today. Let me tell you about the whiskey giveaway, the studio fundraiser whiskey giveaway. Every super chat and membership will be entered to win a monthly giveaway. So that's January, February, and March. It's 3 months. A giveaway for 3 bottles. A giveaway in January, February, and March of our special, as yet unannounced, spring release. I'm not telling you what the spring release is. Still working on it. I know what it's going to be. I know what whiskey it's going to be. I'm working on a label, working on a name. Our spring release is going to be either March or April. I'm looking at probably March 13th when we do the spring release. So we'll have a January, February, and March winner of a bottle of our spring release. And every super chat, you put in $5, you get 5 entries. You have a $25 membership, you have 25 entries. So William Hall and Mr. Jiggs are already entered. They currently have 25 entries each. But every super chat and every membership gets you an entry for that month. It goes from January 1 to January 31, and then February 1 to February 29, and then go ahead and pin that. Come on now. Quit being squirrely. I'm trying to pin this comment. Whoop. I don't know what just happened. I don't know what just happened. That was dumb. Okay, I got to reopen my chat window. On OSB, something dumb just happened. I hate it when something dumb happens. All right, whatever. So there we go. Morning, Tater Dom. Cheers. Did everything freeze? Seriously? Everything froze. I think it was just the computer working. We should be good. I see things moving on my computer. There it is. Everything's back. Nice. All right. That comment is getting pinned, so everybody knows. Everybody knows about the whiskey. I need a new computer. I desperately need a new computer. That's part of what the studio fundraiser is for. Lights, computer, sound mix. My dog's in there. Here, yeah, hey buddy. I have a pillow laid out for my dog, but he is not using it because he is stubborn as they get. Oh wait, I can't use that window. I got to use this window. That's why it's not working. Live chat. So the super chats will show up on the screen as well when we get into, there it is, pinned message. Hot damn. All right, thanks, Tom. for yeah. All right, so we should be ready to go. So today what we're doing is, let's have a quick word from our sponsors. No, I'll come back to the word from our sponsors later. Let's go over here. All right, so this is where we're at. This is what we're doing. I still have Thanksgiving decorations. Those are now Valentine pumpkins. We have Valentine pumpkins. All right, so this is where we're working over here. Wally, you've got a bed, buddy. Go lay down on your comfy bed. Wally is no doubt the most popular person at the distillery, but he's also in the way. He's a good boy. He's a goodest boy, but he's also in the way most of the time. He really wanted to come to the shop today, so I brought him with me. All right. This thing, what is this? Garbage. Okay, so here we are. So what we've done in the last few days is I've gotten all the trim pieces around the windows and the doors. I've gotten everything locked in place. Get over here. There we go. I've gotten everything locked in place, glued in place, nailed in place, screwed in place, whatever. I've got my window ledge, my window sill, the base plate, everything's set up to go in. I just want to put tape around here, seal everything up, make it nice and presentable. But first things first, I got to go get my stirring wheel, my paddle wheel, and my screwdriver. I'm sorry, my impact wrench. I call these things by their proper titles, you know what I mean? I don't want to sound like somebody who doesn't know what his tools are. There it is, it's over there. I also need to plug in my phone so that I can monitor chat. And once again, every super chat gets entered to win. You're already entered in, Dom. You joined us for the live. You're entered in to win. That's how it works. You join me for the live. You're entered in to win. You throw in a super chat, you get entered in many more times. That's how I've always done my giveaways, my whiskey giveaways. That's how I'm going to continue to do my whiskey giveaways. Doing the super chats makes it so that I can reward more people through the process. You know what I mean? And you know what? I've got a longer cord. I've got a 10-footer outside. I'm gonna go get that. I'm very organized here, people. Very organized. Y'all got to understand. I know exactly what I'm doing. Professional, organized person. Everything I do. Because I am a professionally organized individual. Not at all a cuckoo bird who doesn't know what he's doing. I know exactly what I'm doing. I just don't know exactly how to do what I'm doing. I do know what I'm doing. Don't always know how to do what I'm doing. And you know, sometimes that's good. That's how you get new and innovative ways of doing things. But that's also how you screw things up. So I got to kind of go slow with some things so that I don't screw them up. Make sure that I'm doing something, doing things sensibly and in order, so that I don't have to redo things and undo things and redo them again. Ugh. It's also one of the reasons I'm guessing why I lose my stuff all the time. I can't find. All right, we still got juice. Good. I can't find my knife, which is in my pocket. I can't find my screwdriver. Can't find my drill bits. Can't find my levels. Can't find You know, everything, all the time, all at once. Anyway, so let me tell you a story about what happened this morning. I've noticed, this is a TikTok thing I've noticed. What do you think about that, buddy? That smell good? You like that? This is a TikTok thing I've noticed. Millennials, mostly millennials, these kids. I love them. I love the fact that they're getting involved in the politics. It's about damn time, quite honestly. But it would be nice if they weren't dumb as shit all the time. And there's a lot of them that it seems like all of a sudden they're coming out of the woodworks. I'll never vote for Joe Biden. Crisis at the border, economy, like and they all say the same damn thing. They're all saying like literally the same thing, and it made me wonder, like, who the fuck is paying these people? Like, this is like some of them have got to be part of a concerted effort, right? Like they are like talking from the same script. You see enough of it happen, you start to ask yourself, like, these guys they're repeating the same thing. This is not original content, you know? So you kind of got to ask, who's paying you? Am I? Yeah. Like, who's paying you people? So, a few weeks ago, I asked one of these dum-dums, like, okay, I get it. Joe Biden's old. You don't want to vote for another old guy. I get it. But you can't possibly be looking around and seeing the same thing the rest of us are seeing, right? Like, there's no, like, the only crisis at the border is in Texas. And that's because of the Texas governor. There's no crisis in Arizona. There's no crisis in California. There's no crisis anywhere else. Just Greg Abbott. And to a lesser extent, Florida, because Ron DeSantis is also a piece of shit. Mud. I think I did that right. Did that well, whatever. All right. That's that. I'm going to mix this up and get it nice and integrated. And I asked him point blank, I'm like, who's paying you? You're old enough to know better. Like, the stuff that he could do, he did. The stuff that he wanted to do that he couldn't do, that was like literally two Democrats and 50 Republicans that blocked him. You know, the stuff that she was complaining about specifically. Student debt relief. There's a couple of other things. Like, that was stuff he wanted to do, but he couldn't because he got blocked by Cinema, Manchin, and 50 Republicans. And then she blocked me. So I'm not yet convinced that these, like, Biden's too old, never going to vote for Biden again. They told me to vote for Trump to protect democracy, and we did. And then what do we got? Like literally what we said you'd get. And you're going to be all like, I'm not voting for that again. Like, why? Like, did you not get, like, literally everything you asked for, except for a handful of things that couldn't be done? But even with the limited student debt relief that we did get, we've gotten student debt relief. I'm not happy with the student debt relief, not even a little bit. It would be much nicer if there was a more comprehensive plan. But, hey, get rid of about 5 senators and then boom, you got a plan. You know what I mean? That's literally all it takes, about 5 people. All right, time to get to work. Let's go, boys. I'm going to start low. I'm going to start in the middle and work my way up. I'm going to start right about there. Actually, no, I'm going to start up top and work my way down. And again, all I'm doing today is skim coat. Just doing skim coat. Just trying to smooth this whole wall out, make it nice and even, so I can put primer on it and then texture it. So, and each one of these boxes are supposed to give me 15 feet of coverage, 15 square feet of coverage, which is about 15 feet of wall. So I should be able to get to the end of the wall with the amount that I have in here right now. Today's TikTok drama was another dumb little millennial. And I say that with, zero respect. Because I'm happy that they're getting involved. I'm happy that they want to be involved. Hey. I'm happy that they want to be involved. I just wish they would be informed and educated about what they're talking about. Because they sound stupid. And then they're like, I know what I'm talking about. I'm like, no, you fucking don't. Actually, based on the words you're using, you clearly don't. And I'm not, I'm not just going to pat you on the head and say, good kid. I mean, I'm going to try and be all like helpful, at least a little. But if, you just want to be persistent in ignorance. Anyway, this dumb little girl, and I say that like literally, she was a dumb little girl. She was blathering on about something, saying, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, which is popular to be said among the kids. I don't believe in any party, because I said that too when I was a kid. I don't believe in either party, but when I was a kid, I always voted for the Republicans. Because we were here in Texas, and that's what you did. You voted for the Republicans. Anyway, she said, in the next breath, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'm a socialist. I believe, and here, this is her statement of beliefs to support her being a socialist. All human rights. That is my mom calling. Give me just a second, guys. Let me talk to my mom real quick. Hello? I'm at the distillery, live streaming. How are you? They're sending them to storage? Well, I don't have any place to put them. I mean, we could. Yeah, I mean, I could load them in the van, but they're just going to sit in the van. Because I don't have any way to get them out of the van right now, so they're just going to sit in the van for 3 or 4 days. Okay, bye. All right. TikTok is just an OnlyFans marketing tool. I have noticed there is a bunch of OnlyFans. Cheers, Dustin. You have been entered into the drawing, by the way. I'm going to move this just a little bit to get that window out because I keep seeing a flash of brightness. And I think it's because it's getting overclocked with the light there. Anyway, yeah, and OnlyFans. It does seem like TikTok and Insta, and to a lesser extent now Threads, is a OnlyFans marketing tool. I've noticed the thoughts and pogs are all showing up. I'm using those words right? thoughts and pogs. Anyway, but yeah, she's little because I assume not so much in stature but in age. I don't know how tall she is, but anyway. So first off, there's the declaration, and this is how it always goes. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. It's either followed then by I believe in voting for the person, not the party, which almost always means Republican. And it's also a lie. Because you're voting for the party, not the person. Because the person you're voting for is voting for party, not person. You're electing somebody who is going to adhere to the party line. So you are 100% voting for the party, not the person. Anyway, so she moves into her statement of belief. I'm not a Democrat. I believe that human rights should be protected just because we exist, not because we're rich. To which I kindly responded, that's not socialism. That is, socialism does not inherently protect rights any more than any other belief system does. Capitalism, unfettered capitalism doesn't at all. They have no concern whatsoever for human rights. Capitalism, unfettered, unregulated capitalism has no concern for human rights. It's not part of the capitalist credo. Capitalism. Why is that little spot keep showing up there? And that's not a value statement. That's just a reality statement. Free flow of capital, free capital inputs for the best capital outputs, et cetera, et cetera. Maximize value for your shareholders or stakeholders, depending on which capitalist philosophy you adhere to. European capitalism is more maximizing value for stakeholders. American capitalism is maximizing value for shareholders. And that is a very important distinction because stakeholders can be literally everybody in the community, including the family of employees and families of employees, community groups, human rights, and such. But that is a philosophical difference between European and American capitalism. Our capitalists don't give a shit about stakeholders. Our capitalists give a shit about shareholders. My dog has allergies and he is just over here going to town on himself. I can hear it 15 feet away as he licks himself. Poor guy. We need to get him some fresh allergy medicine, but it doesn't seem to be working well. I don't know what to do about it. Anyway, so I try to explain kindly, that's not socialism. Socialism doesn't have a declaration of rights in there. Oh, that's why, because it's a high spot. Okay, so that'll smooth out. That's a high spot too. That'll smooth out. All right, let's move down. And then she doubles down and she's all like, yeah, I am a socialist. I believe in human rights. I'm like, well, you didn't say. No, she said, I am a socialist. I believe in the people should control the means of production. I'm like, well, that's not socialism, but that's not what you said. And if you just want to persist in your ignorance, then fine. I'm not here to pat you on the head and call you a good girl. And then she blocked me. Which is probably fine. That persistence in ignorance. You got to love that. Really having examples of true capitalism. Never looked at the threads thing. Pretty much a way to post porn, basically, porn scene. They're all social media is a place to post porn, Dustin. I mean, that's the internet is for porn. It exists, so there will be porn. That's how the internet works. You're old enough to know that. It exists, therefore, what is that, like Rule 80? That's if something exists, porn will be made of it. That's kind of the way the internet works in general. Internet exists, then porn. And you're right, we don't really have a lot of good examples of unfettered capitalism. We have examples of loosely regulated capitalism. And we do have examples from our history of fairly unfettered capitalism. I mean, most of the history of regulation in the United States is because of unfettered capitalism. We don't have a lot of history of any kind of unfettered anything because there's always been some kind of governing structure that creates a commerce environment, that creates a market in which things will exist, whether it's currency based or trade based or whatever. There's always, some kind of governance structure. Shit. Fell off the edge and onto my shoe. Yuck. But for the most part, if we look back far enough into pre-regulations, we know what the world looks like before the FDA. We know what the world looks like before labor laws, before labor regulations, we know what corporations would do if given the freedom to do whatever they want to do. They would literally own slaves because that's what they did. Oh, they wouldn't do that these days. Yeah, actually they would. Just ask Jeff Bezos. Bezos, however the hell you pronounce his name. They absolutely would. Oh, we'd pay them. We'd give them housing. Yeah. We'd give them a place to stay. We'd give them food to eat. A nice little colony on the moon. Oh, really? Well, you would, huh? What do you do with your employees now? Oh, well, we feed them. We give them, housing. Oh, okay. They would do what they were doing now, and they would pay them as little as they possibly could, because that's what they do. They protect their bottom line. They don't give a shit about human resources. They give a shit about resources, financial resources, economic resources. Stakeholders can suck it. Maximize value to shareholders. That is the creed of American business. That's why you'll open up a factory in Mexico and tell your factory in Ohio to compete against that factory in Mexico, and then close the factory in Ohio because they can't compete. Fuck the stakeholders. I mean, if you want to move from Ohio to Mexico, you can keep your job. And yes, that happens. That happens frequently, or at least not infrequently. Happens enough that there are case studies written about it. All right. Ah, beautiful. 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 Smooth this out a little bit. And then I'm going to declare myself satisfied and move on to the next couple of panels. Come on. There we go. This corner sucks. But I'll clean that up in a second. And yeah. So anyway, I wish these kids would understand that socialism is not a political philosophy. It's an economic system. And there's a political philosophy that reinforces the economic system, obviously. But you can have socialistic policies with a constitutional democracy. Our political system will never be a socialist system. Even our socialistic institutions like insurance and whatnot are working within the capitalist operation. Your life insurance, your health insurance. Now, the closest we're going to get, I think, in my lifetime, is private operation of socialistic organizations like, health insurance, maybe life insurance. Where are we at? Who we got? Mr. Jiggs is in the house. That is a 26th entry for Mr. Jiggs. Next time you're having beers and nachos, ask him. Awesome. You don't see Facebook being used for porn. You are in the wrong corners of Facebook, my friend. It is 100% being used for porn. Facebook is Instagram is Threads. You're in the wrong corners. Let's see here. This one's done. Go ahead and use that. I'll smooth out some of the parts that need smoothing here. Facebook is Instagram. And Instagram and Threads are being used for porn. That's how the internet works. If there's a thing, it will be used for porn. There are a lot of OnlyFans, YouTube, or OnlyFans, Pornhub influencers that have you know they're there. You see them. You just don't know that that's what they do. I mean, you think these girls that are walking around in their bikinis or whatever doing their little skits. I mean, some of them are comedians. Guys and girls both are comedians. They're promoting their art. But if they're pretty, if they are pretty, and you are aware of the fact that they are pretty, and they have a following, they're on one of the hubs. They have a page, spicy page. And maybe it's just because I'm always looking for influencers who I can partner with, but yeah, these influencers are pornos. Mostly, if they're any good at what they do porn. It's a fact of life. If they're any good at what they do porn. Because, face it, I'm not the one who makes the rules, but 9 times out of 10, Guys don't want to hear what you have to say. They're just looking at your boobs. They certainly don't want to hear what you have to say if you don't have boobs. Unless you have built a brand like some of these science influencers. Science influencers. I mean, they have built Ellie Engineering, I think is who she is. She builds she does really cool builds. She's built a Iron Man, a full-on functioning Iron Man suit. That's pretty fucking dope if you ask me. I think her name's Ellie Engineering. I think that's what she does. Astro Alexandra. I mean, hell, even my little, well, she's not really a science influencer. She just really likes science stuff. Tanya. I mean, that's what the double standard that works in favor of guys. Guys can be ugly. What's his name? Giancarlo. No, it's not Giancarlo. What is that dude's name? He's like fully just mid. Okay, I've got to fix that somehow. It's not working. Okay, starts with a G. He was in a Sideways. What's his name? Hey, appreciate that, Dustin. Get back to work. We can do anything men can do, but there are many true experts at the top of their field who are women. I don't know. Well, hold on. Pretty picky, yeah. Y'all are having a nice conversation amongst yourselves. I'm looking. I'm curious. Bezos' house. There are very few people. There are very few true influencers on the webs. There are very few people who are truly influencers on the social medias specifically. Most people do not become influencers via social medias. Most people become influencers by doing something good and then people wanting to know about them, or by dating Taylor Swift. Because, I mean, face it, had you ever heard of that dude before he dated Taylor Swift? I had not. I'm not a fantasy football guy, so I don't know about a mid-range. There's absolutely no reason for me to know anything about a mid-range tight end in a mid-market club for a mid-market club. I don't know who the hell that guy was. But now he's doing freaking commercials for, I don't know, Geico or Progressive or whatever. I think it's Geico. Home and auto policies. You do two things at once. I know who that dude was. But, you know, hey, he did a thing. He dated somebody famous, just like Kim Kardashian. You know, she had a big ass in a sex tape, so all of a sudden people knew who she was. And then she became a person with a show. So either most people become influencers by doing something notable or someone notable. That's a fact of life. So people on social medias who claim to be influencers aren't really. They just got big butts and sex tapes. I mean, they might influence people to go to their OnlyFans. And I guess that's influencer enough for them because they make money from selling their underwear or whatever it is that they do on OnlyFans. I turned on my OnlyFans here at the distillery because it was getting a little hot. It is 70 degrees outside. and it is going to drop down to about 17 on Monday. Yeesh. All right, I got to put a lot more mud up on the wall here. Somebody calling me again? Ah, hold on. This is a very important call to take as well. Hello, Sam. I am at my shop until 1, yeah. Okay. Okay. Fantastic. I got it. Come on. I'm just doing a little work and live streaming. Fantastic. I swear I saw him put in the PO. I knew it was coming. That's fine. I knew it was coming. I'm here. Let's do it. All right, see it. That is, by the way, that was the sounds of a whiskey man making some money. Until this. I don't know if you're Taylor Swift's market, to be quite honest, Dustin. Anyway, all right, a little bit more mud on the wall. Boosh. Okay, that was a little bit more force than I needed to use. It splattered back here a little ways. Woke up my dog. Hey, puppy. Okay. So yeah. Anyway, OnlyFans, Instagram OnlyFans. If they're on Instagram and they're pretty, they've got an OnlyFans. Guarantee it. I mean, Jesus. When we were kids, Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen, there was literally a clock on somebody's website counting down when they turned 18 so that they could be in Playboy. I mean, how gross are we as a people? Of course they have OnlyFans as soon as they get a chance. There was some Disney starlet that did it. I mean, as long as we're willing to pay for pictures of boobs, they're going to charge us for pictures of boobs. I get regular unsolicited messages on my Twitter. Hey, and Instagram too. Hey, just opened up her so-and-so, just had her OnlyFans. Everything's on sale. I don't know who this person is. But that's the risks of being risks. That's the other side of having a company on the social medias and having a broad fan base or a broad following base. You know, I think my Instagram is like only 2,000 or so. I'm pretty sure YouTube is past Instagram. Facebook, I think, is at 6,000-ish. Twitter and Facebook are both in the 6 or 7,000. Not to brag, but you know, I'm kind of a big deal. On social medias. I'm trying to be a big deal elsewhere too in real life. Working on it. Every little bit counts, every little bit pays off. But I have thus far resisted the urge to set up an OnlyFans of whiskey and feet pics. Although I think it would be funny as hell to have an Old Humble OnlyFans that is literally whiskey and feet. I mean, how funny would that be, right? And it would be my feet too, my nasty, hairy man toes. I'm certain there's a market for it. I'm certain there would be a following. A nice, healthy following of guys being all like, show your butthole too. Like, nope. That's in the paid subscription. Anyway, how'd we get here from where I was? Oh, yeah. The TikTok. And this wasn't like an influencer. This was just like a normal person. Bless her sweet little heart. But like I said before, I'm super glad that they're getting engaged. That's what we need. There's not enough Gen X to push back against the boomer hegemony, the boomer hegemons. There's not enough of us to be able to push back. But with the millennials, Gen Y, etc., there is. We can like start beginning the process of setting up the next order of things that will benefit everyone who's not a boomer. And I thought we were doing that back in 08, but then the fucking kids noped out and they're like, oh, we didn't get a public option, we quit. And then everything went to shit and set everything back by 10 years. And opened the door for the orange hobgoblin to join the party. But he's not the problem. He's a symptom of the problem. The problem is these damn kids not being engaged enough and not being knowledgeable enough when they are engaged, thinking that human rights is what socialism means. Like, Jesus Christ, kids, read a fucking book already. We're glad to have you. But we sure would like to have you not be fucking idiots, if that's at all possible. I know, that's actually a big ask. Not be an idiot on the internet. Because there will not be a world where the people own the means of production. That's just not a thing. Now, there could be a world where the overriding philosophy is that the goal is to return value to stakeholders, not shareholders. But again, that's a generational change. It's not going to happen overnight, especially considering returning value to shareholders has been taught in business schools for 60 some years, maybe longer. I don't know. Not enough Gen X to screw in a light bulb. No feet, got no feet. 90% of the time, 90% will be men. Yeah, so when you talk about being in the top of your field, that is a function of, that's very much an egalitarian function of women not being encouraged. I don't want to say not encouraged, but not included. I think that's probably a good way to put it. I mean, top of the field, the best of the best of the best of the best has been men. And men hire men. And it hasn't been a concerted effort until really the last 15 years or so to put more women in professional circumstances in, the field. Like, there were, at the beginning of, there was very little, I guess I could put it that way. There was very little gender gap in the tech world at the beginning of the tech renaissance, and then it became a gap. There became a boys club. Part of it was marketing video games to boys, marketing. Part of it was culture, pushing pushing it on boys and pushing girls out. I mean, we live in a world that has been shaped by generations old biases, and we don't even know it. We just do it because it's how it's done. And we still, to this day, have debates about what it is to be a man, what it is to be a woman, what is masculinity, what is femininity, are trans women women, are trans men men. We still have these nonsensical, and it's all, and we have those debates because all of that is social constructs. All of it is social constructs. Boys' toys, women's toys, girls' toys, women's toys. You won't find those in the toy aisle with the Legos, I hope. All of that is social. I mean, Jesus, even the idea of right and wrong, good and evil, social moralities, all that stuff. I had this conversation briefly with Lisa once, that if you live alone on an island, there is no such thing as murder. Therefore, there's no notion that murder is immoral, because it doesn't exist, because you're the only person who lives on that island. You're the only person. So a thing that doesn't exist cannot be moral or immoral, because you couldn't possibly fathom the idea of killing another person because there are no other people. That is the definition of a social construct. Morality, good, evil, all that. This is way thick down here at the bottom. Jesus, look at all that. Thick. And as such, just about anything that we think of that has to do with an interaction between one or more people is a social construct. We're like, oh, we're naturally attracted. No, we're not. There have been plenty of civilizations where men and women are, I won't say plenty, there have been civilizations where men and women are but one coupling option. And I'm not just talking about the Greeks and Romans. And I'm not defending alternative coupling options, for that matter. What we would consider alternative coupling options today. People and goats, stuff like that. Or children. And I want to make that perfectly clear. There are certain things that aren't just alternative attractions. They're actually bad for society, and we need to not allow that. So don't at me Oh, he's defending. No, I'm not. Shut up. I'm just smoothing out a wall right now, so leave me alone. All right. I'm satisfied with that. It's not too thick down there. It's just thick enough up there. But I do want to check on it with this real quick. I'm about to check the chat. Calm down, I'm sure. All right. All right. I'm satisfied with this. I'm happy. Any gaps or bumps will be smoothed out when it's time to smooth it out. All right, next up. What time is it? 11:45? Am I close? No, 10:30, not even close. It's not about excluding women. It was about excluding women. It was absolutely about excluding women for a very long time. I mean, in the 80s, having a woman in the boardroom was crazy. It was a men's club. Having female managers. I mean, Jesus Christ, they still talk about women. Oh, well, you can't have a career because you're just going to drop out in 3 years and have a baby. We want to make sure you're going to be around for 10 years. Now, all these dumb excuses to not have women, it's still a thing. In the 80s, there was absolutely exclusion. There was women's jobs, secretary, stenographer, receptionist, nurse, and then men's jobs. Even in the 80s. This is not a thing I'm making up. This is real life. It wasn't necessarily, in some cases, it was, we can't have a woman doing that job. But in other cases, it was, oh, they're just not ready. They're just not capable. They're just not qualified. I've known Bob for 15 years. He's been preparing for this since he got here. I've been grooming Bob. Bob's my protege. I'm his mentor. We're going to go with Bob. And that's not a matter of excluding women. That's a matter of men having the inside lane. And that is a social construct born from just the way things are and not making an effort, not putting in any effort whatsoever to change how things are. Changing what you got to what you want takes time, a sustained time. A cultural change takes sustained time and energy. And even today, assertive women are called bossy. That is changing with this generation of people coming into the workforce. It was talked about when my people were coming into the workforce. But, my people were just a shadow of the boomers in more ways than one. And by the time my end of the generation, the late Xers, were coming into the workforce, the boomers were still there. And the early Xers were just boomer light. I mean, Jesus Christ, talk to somebody who's 55, you can't tell that they're Xers. They sound like fucking boomers. It takes a sustained amount of energy and time to change a cultural dynamic, which is why we're seeing that change today and not in the early 90s. I think it started in the early 90s, maybe. Fluke. But we're actually seeing it overtake a lot of the culture, the corporate culture today. In ways that it was unable to in the early 90s. The early 90s would have been when the bulk, I think, of Gen X was making its way. That's when I graduated high school. Late 90s is when I was getting out of college. So I think the vast majority of Xers were entering the workforce in the mid 90s. The vast majority of Xers would have been that late 60s to mid 70s cohort. And the last half of the generation coming in, I don't have the graphs in front of me, but I think that's kind of how it works. With each successive year, you're adding a smaller and smaller percentage of the cohort after the 50% mark. Isn't that how it works? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Not getting promoted to manager makes you no less. Not promoting someone and someone not becoming an expert. Oh, yeah, absolutely. But you referred to Janet Yellen. I mean, there's plenty of people. Well, now especially, it's much easier to be an expert in your field because everybody has a forum, everybody has an outlet, everybody has a publishing arm. You know, everybody can be an influencer. Everybody can have a blog. Everybody has a LinkedIn article or whatever. Everybody can be an expert now because everybody has an outlet. Back then, being promoted and having an outlet were the same thing. You didn't have a forum, you didn't have a voice, you didn't have an audience unless you had the credential. And nobody's going to listen to the district manager of Dairy Queen talk about supply chain fundamentals unless the district manager, the regional manager of Central Indiana Dairy Queens has their own following. You know, I mean, Good Morning America is not going to put you on. You know, we have Michael Phillips here, who's going to talk to us about supply chain logistics. Michael Phillips is the regional assistant manager of the Central United States District 3 for a local Dairy Queen franchisor. Michael, tell us more about. Like, nobody wants to talk to that guy. And why should we listen to you? Oh, you know, I study this stuff in my spare time. And looky there, my fictional manager was a dude. See, I'm a product of my culture. All right. Part of the problem, that's me. I'm not going to be part of the problem. I'm going to be the whole damn thing. That's one of my favorite memes at this today. Top 4 for sure. All right. So I've got a tasting today scheduled for Bay Area Boulevard, which is on the southeast side of town. And my taster can't make it, but I might just go myself, especially if they stock the store. Anyway, how do we get to talking about this from socialism? Oh, influencers, right. Anyway, long story short, she blocked me. Because the reality is, they don't know what they're talking about, and they don't want anybody to tell them so. So, I mean, if you're going to be a socialist, you ought to at least know what socialism means, what it means in America, not just what it means among your stupid socialist Reddit groups or wherever you're getting your dumb information from. Because being ignorant ain't going to help anybody. And if you renew your values, you could vote your values, and you could certainly vote the party that aligned your values. Because you could be all like, I'm pissed off that Joe Biden didn't forgive student debt with a swipe of his pen. Like, yep, I get that. Most of us are. He couldn't, for one. But also, who are you going to vote for that is going to come close to doing that? It's not going to be Chris Christie. Not going to be Nikki Haley. Not going to be Ron DeSantis. It's not going to be, certainly not going to be whoever third party idiot you think you're going to vote for. Because that person's not going to win. Welcome to America. Oh, well, if enough of us vote for... No. If enough of you vote for him, he's still not going to win. Because even if he did become the president, he's not going to have a Congress that's going to do anything for him. And to be in the same damn position you were in when you voted for the last president that didn't have a Congress that would do shit for him. Because we didn't have enough of a majority in the Senate. So, the men and women IQ distribution isn't the same. Same mean IQ, but men's distribution have fatter tails. That is an interesting statement about IQ tests and the presumed reliance and reliability of IQ tests. Because you should know this. You're a business person. You do business stuff. You should know that what you measure, if it can be measured, it can be monitored. If it can be monitored, it can be modified. This is something you know. And you also should know, being a person of business, that every single test that has ever been made, ever, is biased towards the maker's assumptions. You know this. One only has to look to literacy tests in the early 19th or early 20th century to know that tests are not... I mean, if you had to take a test, an IQ test, written by a woman, how do you think you would do? Written by a woman in the 1950s. Right? A housewife from the 1940s even. You had to take what if you had to pass what a woman in the 1920s thought amounted to intelligence, you think you'd do okay? I wager a bet that that test would kick your ass. As well as mine, as well as most men's asses. Because what we think of as intelligence is not what should be considered universal intelligence. I mean, I like the idea of trying to measure nimbleness of thought and things like that, but that is really hard to put into a test. Ask somebody to do simple mathematics while a plane is crashing. That is not intelligence. That is, doing simple math. Yeah, that's intelligence. Doing simple math while the building is on fire. That is a different kind of intelligence. That is an intelligence that would be extremely useful for, say, firefighters. Being cool under pressure, that sort of thing. But that is also not what you need for an accountant. It's not what you need for a plumber. I mean, hell, if a plumber was making an intelligent test, I probably wouldn't pass it. But if I were asking a plumber to do my distillation, guarantee he wouldn't pass that one. Well, I say that. I think there's a high chance that he wouldn't pass that. He'd be the best damn plumber on the planet. That does not make him the best distiller on the planet. That's a different kind of intelligence. IQ tests are highly biased. Highly biased. In favor of the people who write the tests. They are at best aptitude tests, not intelligence tests. That absolutely would make a difference in distribution. It absolutely would make a difference in distribution. Because it affects the results. It 100% affects the results, 100% affects the distribution. The distribution is part of the results. I mean, you can't have an unbiased test. An unbiased test would have different distribution and results. And there's no such thing as an IQ test that's written by a person, even one that's written by an algorithm, that's not biased. I mean, you look at the tests that Google does for their applicants. Those are 100% biased, but they're not looking for correct answers. They're looking for problem-solving skills, how you would do it. They try to take the bias out of it by looking not what answers you come up with, but how you come up with the answers. Because that's what they're looking for. They're not looking for, do you know how to solve this problem? They're looking for, how do you go about solving this problem? And that is possibly the best way to avoid bias in tests like those, is not so much, do you know the answer? Because knowing the answer is so much about socioeconomic conditions, how you were encouraged to learn, whether or not you were encouraged to learn. I know for a fact, I don't even have to know much about you. I know for a fact that you went to high school with kids who did not feel they needed to really know much book learning because they were going to be athletes. I know that because I went to school with people who thought the same thing. I don't need to know much about that. I'm going to be a football player. I'm going to be a basketball player. I don't need to know about fluid dynamics and changing altitude conditions. Why the hell would I need to know about that? I mean, Jesus, I planned on being an accountant. What do I need to know about geology? And that was me. I was a good student. All right, this wall is packed with mud. A lot of smoothing about to have to be done here. Especially in these corners. So I don't buy IQ claims of any sort. But I especially like people who claim to have high IQs, because those are the people you could say, yeah, you know what? I can get your results framed for you for only $150. Every genius should have their high IQ results framed, hanging on the wall. Every genius. So you should be proud of that. You should have a plaque that says it right there on the wall. I am smart. Gold trim and everything. Then you know who the real geniuses are. Which up. All right, last little skim. Smooth this out a little bit. Up we go. Up we go. Oh, shit. Oh, okay. That's good. And there we go. All right. I've never met somebody who's actually smarter than most people who would claim to be smarter than most people. Smart people don't tend to reference their IQ test. Smart people don't tend to care. They don't need to take a test to know they're smart. They just know they're smart. Dumb people are never quite certain. Dumb people take the tests. And the tests affirm them and say, you're a very smart person. Here's your plaque. Smart person. Of course, Mensa is an exception to that rule because you have to take a test in order to get into Mensa. But then you have to ask yourself, who are the people getting into Mensa that have to take a test? Are these really the smartest people? Or are the people running Mensa the smart people? Because they're the ones, charging for the test. That's a hell of a racket to have. I tell you what, be all like, here's how we're going to do it. We're going to get an association, a society of smart people, and we're going to invite the dumbest people we know, rich people, but dumb all the same, to join Mensa. And we're going to charge them $200 to take the test. And yeah, they're going to pass it. If not the first time, they'll pass it the second time. We'll make sure of it. The real dumb ones will pay $400. Money, jobs, IQ, and test numbers. Yeah, that's what I mean. You sell them the test, and they pass it. Maybe not the first time, but maybe the second time. They pay, no, why $200? Let's make it prestigious. It's going to be $400 to take the test. Because, you know, prestigious. So they take their dumb little test. They spend their money. They spend their money. And, you know, let's say they fail it the first time. You're like, oh, so sad. Sorry, you failed your Mensa test. But, you know, you can take it again in 6 months. And then you can be a part of this elite society of really smart people. I mean, you don't laugh at them while they're taking it or while they're in the midst of failure. You know, you keep that part to yourself, obviously. But, you know, then they take the test again because they're very smart and they can't possibly be failures at an intelligence test. They're smart people. They don't fail. Wally, stop, buddy. You're hurting yourself. And I'm tired of listening to it. I need to get that poor dog some more allergy medicine. Oops. Anyway, you know, they fail it the first time. You make sure they fail it the first time because you're good at what you do. And you don't want it to seem easy for them to get in, right? What a fucking racket. Then, you know, you make it so that they pass it the second time. That's how you get them. The second time they take it, they pass it. That way the test costs $800. And they can't possibly be stupid because they passed that IQ test that was hard. All right, I'm going to turn this. Let's just see the next panels that I'm working on here. But it's going to be bright, so my apologies. We here? What's going on? What's happening over here? All right, so we lost the video feed, it looks. It looks that we lost the video feed somehow, some way. All right, let's try it and plug it in real quick. I have unplugged and plugging in. We can hear me okay. See if the video capture device turns on real quick. That's working. Picture in picture. Still nothing. Let's see. HP. HD. Deactivate. Reactivate. There it is. Okay, good deal. We fixed it. There we go. All right, we got video. Back to, okay, so here's where I'm working right now. on the window. And there's Wally. Hey, yo, puppy. All right. All tech details are good. Okay. You don't have to take their test. Things like the LSAT qualify. Hey, Bimbo Barbarella, welcome to the party. You have been added to the January giveaway. Get away from there. Hey, that's not food. You thirsty? You want some water, buddy? All right, let's get you some water. I'm going to go get my dog some water. Good? All right, while I get him some water, let me explain the whiskey giveaway, the January giveaway, where we're at. So, I have a special release coming in March. A special edition whiskey that I will be releasing in March. It is not yet. I'm not saying what it is yet. It's going to be a surprise. I will make that announcement probably in February, late February, of what it is. But someone in January on these live streams that gets into chat, same way I give away, same way I've always given away the whiskey. You get into chat, you get one entry. Super chats, you get an entry for every $1 you give in the super chat. Paid subscriptions get an entry for every $1 of their annual subscription, membership, whatever you want to call it. So Mr. Jiggs and William Hall, our first super fans, both have 25 entries for the month of January. There you go, buddy. They both have 25 entries for the month of January. If you throw in whatever, a $5 super chat, you get a $5 or 5 additional entries. But we will also do it in February and March. Old Humble Fireball version. There will never be an Old Humble Fireball version. That is horrific, dude. That is just a horrific idea. Yeah, no, that will not happen. So, no. And shame on you. God have mercy on your soul for even suggesting such a thing. I should have done this earlier, but I did not. So, my corner bead. Let's see here. We'll just put it on here directly. We will just install it directly under the wall because it is not strong enough to hold. It's just paper, you know. I have a corner spatula that I should be using, I guess. But I'm not. Let's go squish you in. Is you is, or is you ain't. There we go. All right, so all I'm doing is just putting the corners into the window here. And I'm going to go around. I'm not going to do the windows yet. I'm not going to do this section of it yet. I'm going to let it dry and move on with the rest of the room. Because I really don't know. This is part of my ignorance. I don't know how to finish. Like, I'm going to put trim around the window, right? I'm not going to use that spatula anymore. I'm going to put trim around the window, and I just don't know how. Like, I need to float the wall and then put the trim. So I guess I know exactly how I'm going to do it. I'm going to float the wall with the skim coat and then put the trim up. Where the hell is, there it is. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to float. I'm going to finish with the corners and everything. Put the skim coat, prime it. Go with the skim coat, prime it up. And then put the trim on. So, although Dustin, it won't be Fireball, I do suspect you will be quite excited when you do find out what it is that I'm making, when I make the official announcement. Come on, stop. All right. That's good. A nice solid corner bead here. Because you're always bitching at me. 90 proof isn't real whiskey. First of all, it is. But second, I don't want to say too much because it's still in development stages. And I haven't really decided on what it's going to be or how it's going to be. So I don't want to say too much. But I am playing around with several different iterations of what I'm planning on doing. I think I can say that. And be fair and honest with it. That is dust. Get. I'm trying to make a mess here, and you're right in the way of my mess. Good buddy. All right. One more swipe down. I heard a door. I wonder if that is my distributor. We got some POs came in late last night, so I made some money today. We got a very ambitious schedule. Got to look over here. Hold on. We might, you might get to hear me chit chat. Hold on. Yep, that's him. He's here. All right. Time to open the door. Y'all can't see it because it's in the back. Live streaming. How much? What was the PO? I haven't looked in my emails yet. All right. Y'all are going to go on mute for just a second. I'll put up the outhouse. We'll be right back. Let me find it. Pappy Van Joe's. William Hall's in the house. Cheers, William Hall. That is an additional entry into our January giveaway. I don't have the Be Right Back screen, so we'll just go with title screen 2. We'll be right back. All right. I got to mute my microphone, too. I'll be right back, guys. All right, we're back. We're back. Here's the shop. I am working. All right. Where's that stupid dog? Come in, get in here. I called you 3 times on the other side of the house. Get in here. What's wrong with you? You lost your mind? Come on. Goofy. What am I going to do with you? All right. So yeah, my giveaways always work the same way. You get in on live chats, you are entered. Then, if you do a super fan, an actual monetary contribution to the channel, you get entered. The number of times you are entered in the drawing is equal to, you stupid, stupid dog. I love you, but damn, you're a pain in the butt sometimes. All right. Pappy Van Joe's single barrel, barrel proof, 15-month-old. Did I not switch the screen? Yeah, I switched the screen. Okay. So, but yeah, that's why I always do my giveaways. We are live. There we go. Quit knocking my stuff down. Your pillow's right over there. You can go lay down. I gave you water. Oh, you're such a good boy. Come here. Come here. You're such a sweet boy. You're such a sweet boy. Okay. But yeah, we'll do the giveaway. You give an actual monetary contribution to the channel. You get entered into the giveaway a number of times equal to the dollars that you contribute. So, kick in a buck, you get a buck, or you get 1 extra entry. Kick in $5, you get 5 extra entries. Become a member, then you get entered the number of times equivalent to your annual membership. So, like William Hall was just into chat. Mr. Jiggs was in earlier. So they both, because they got into chat, they're both entered the one time for getting into chat. But also, they're super fans. They are members of the channel. So William Hall, being a super fan, has 25 entries, $2 a month. $1.95, I think, whatever. $2 a month. He has 24 entries there, plus getting into chat. That gets him 26, 25, whatever. Whatever that number is exactly. And then Mr. Jiggs has the same amount. Dustin, you're in chat, so you get entered. Miss Bimbo Barbarella, you're in chat. You got entered. Tater Dom, you got in chat. You're entered for January. And we're going to do this all 3 months. This is a channel fundraiser / whiskey giveaway. And this is a special edition. This is not just something you can buy in a store. This is a special edition Old Humble Whiskey, unavailable anywhere except at the distillery. And it will be released in March during our special March event, which will be a miniature music fest, another mini music fest, which I will start advertising. I'm lining up bands to perform. I've got 3 performers. I'm hoping to get 1 big headliner that I've had my eye on for a while, but they're a rock band, and I don't know if they'll fit inside our tasting room, to be quite honest. But I'm hoping we can get them. If we can, we're going to move their performance outside. And if I cannot, then we'll have a different performer inside. Because, if we can't have them, we will have someone else. But I've got a list of performers that have said they're available that day. March 13th is what I'm looking at for our mini music fest, our March mini music fest. And then special release of our, I'm leaning towards Black Cat Ridge, a very historic part of the Humble area, as a name for it. But I've got a few things to work out. I need to decide if I'm going to have a proper label or if it's going to be just a limited edition inside the park type of label. Got some stuff to work out. So everybody who gets in chat gets entered right away. If you're in chat, you're entered. If you're a member, you're entered. Super chat, entered. That's just how it goes. And every dollar that we raise on the channel goes to the channel. So this is a channel fundraiser because I got to buy new everythings. I got to buy a little bit of everything for this place. Lights, camera, my camera crapped out. I'm using the camera I'm using is my webcam from my pandemic studio. Which is why it looks like I'm 100 yards away, because I kind of am. And what I'm doing right now is I'm putting this tape on the corner to reinforce these corners and keep them square when I float, or rather when I float the skim coat over it. I probably look like I'm shrouded in light right now, which is kind of cool. I don't know if I need it, but I'm doing it because this is what I know to do. Yep. There we go. So who else is in chat that I missed? Dustin, Hall, William Hall, Top Shelf Justin, Bimbo Barbarella. Who else do we got? Did I miss anybody? Dustin, Mr. Jigs, Jigs, Dustin, Tater Dom, Longshanks, you don't fucking count. All right. To listen to him cry about it later. He's not even paying attention now. Good moderator, bud. Good moderating. You're doing the Lord's work there. All right. Smooth this out here. Get you up there. Get you nice and smooshed in there. Get in there. All right. There we go. Nice and steady. All right. I'm glad we got the POs go through. I needed those. I'm doing a 38 tastings this month to try and get some product moved. And I'm getting frustrated because I keep doing tastings and they're really slow to reorder. But the work pays off. Sometimes it pays off quickly. Sometimes it pays off slowly. Y'all didn't think you'd tune into a whiskey channel and see a guy drywall, did you? Ha ha. Knock knock. Who's there? Drywall. Bom bom bom. Where the hose at? Also one of my favorite sounds right now in the meme worlds. Yeah. That's good. It'll smooth out when I add a shit ton of joint compound on top of it. Actually, that'll smooth out when I add the trim. I don't need to worry too much about it. Because what the trim over here is going to be 1x4s. So it doesn't have to be perfect on this side. I have 1x4s going around here all the way up and around. So this doesn't have to be a perfect corner bead. But I'm going to know if it's not. So it does kind of have to be a little bit perfect. Otherwise, I'm going to know it's there like a telltale heart tapping away. But that's no problem. So this one, I'll come back to this section once that dries. I guess I could do the door, the trim around the bead around the door. What's up, pup? Bark, bark, bark. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do the bead around the door, I suppose. What the hell is this? No, that's fine. Nope, I can't do the bead around the door just yet. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and float that while I can. What time is it? I have a tasting at 2. So around noon, I'm gonna wrap things up or come. Oh shit, it's 1 o'clock. I gotta wrap things up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, brothers, sisters, children of all ages, I am the Old Humble Guy. This is the end of the day, the end of our broadcast day. Thank you so much for joining me here at the thing. Y'all have been great. This has been great. I gotta go. Talk to y'all later. Don't forget to tip your bartenders and waitresses. Cheers and good night. Special thanks to Mr. Jiggs and William Hall, who are our super fans and keep this channel